Good evening, San Bernardino. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday evening, leaving one week and preparing to start another. So, tonight we have a super exciting agenda to review, and I will make sure that we are all live. Everybody can see. Super exciting times. So, there is quite a bit to unpack for the next meeting. So we're going to jump into it. If you don't happen to catch this live tonight, you can definitely rewatch it on Facebook. I will post it to Instagram as well as my YouTube page. So you have between now and the next couple days to catch up. So, all right, let's get started. Here we go. Okay. So we have our regular meeting of closed session starting at, oops, sorry about that. Starting at 3:30 for closed session. So if there's anything that you want to talk about the following upcoming material, you can. So we have number one, a conference with legal counsel for existing litigation. So Daniel Felix v. Andrew Sabini, and that court case is going to be discussed. We have Carla Jeanette Moore versus City of San Bernardino for the United States District Court case. We have Christina N. versus City of San Bernardino for a court case to discuss. David Miranda v. the City of San Bernardino for San Bernardino Superior Court case. A couple of you had reached out wondering if that was the David Miranda that used to work for the City of San Bernardino VIP program. And yes, that is the same person. So but you can also go on to the San Bernardino Superior Court. And for all of these that have the CIVSB, you can look up any one of these cases and follow whatever's been filed, whatever documents are available for you. Then we have Kadria Watson versus City of San Bernardino. So that will all be a part of existing litigation. And then, hi, Larea, thank you for joining. We have a conference with legal counsel for anticipated litigation in 2 cases. And then a conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation. And that one, you guys, for those who didn't catch the closed session of the last meeting, I know that the live was down, and so you weren't able to hear the city attorney, but he read what that case that we were going to be discussing is, and so we are revisiting that this instance that we've received a notice and a letter. So it's the same topic from the last meeting. And I don't know why it's not spelled out here again, but for those that were asking, we will be revisiting the same issue that the city attorney read about at the last meeting. So, okay. And again, you can come and speak directly to any of these if you have anything you want to add or say, or that you would know about it, please do. And then we have conference with a labor negotiator. So as you guys know, we are coming down to the last bit of 25 fiscal year with our labor unions. And so we will be discussing the Teamsters General Unit, Management Confidential, Mid-Management, the Police Dispatch, San Bernardino Police Civilian, AFSCME, Police Management PMA, and SBPOA. So that'll all be in for closed session. And if you have anything you want to contribute to that conversation, you're more than welcome to as well. Then at 5 o'clock, we are going into our regularly scheduled program for the evening. And that includes invocation and pledge of allegiance. And then anything that if we decide on something will be reported out in closed session by the city attorney. Then we have presentations for Citizens of the Month. Diego Besenet, owner and head coach of the Wolf's Den. And I want to say this correctly, Xavier, I believe, X Ochoa, the head ninja coach for the Wolf's Den. So they will be honored as our Citizens of the Month. And then we've got quite a couple public hearings. So a development permit type D, adaptive reuse to convert existing commercial office space into 4 residential units in Ward 1. And so they will be allowing the conversion of an existing commercial office building containing approximately 2,400 square feet into 4 residential units containing roughly 600 square feet each. The construction of the new 819 square foot converted parking area and the finding of the project subject to the categorical exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act. So if I remember correctly, and I may or may not, but this project is pretty close to, I believe, a conversion that was done on E Street last year or the year before by, I believe, Ponce and Ponce. Or not that they're doing this project, but seeing the the conversion of office space into residential is pretty cool. So if you have anything you want to add, if you're in the area of Ward 1 where this adaptive reuse is going to be around, you can sign up and independently speak to this item for the public hearing. Okay, then we got another biggie, and this is a general plan amendment for a development code amendment for the area of Foothill and Macy Route 66 residential development project. And it's a lot, but someone asked to review this, so we will, and I'll give you the Reader's Digest version because, it's just a review. So here we go. Let's just go to the discussion, executive summary. Okay. So the proposed project involves a request to change the general planned land use designation of 14 lots on approximately 15.71 acres. And they're going to change the use designation from commercial to multifamily residential. The change in the zoning designation would need to be approved, and then this change from commercial to residential, then those lots, those 14 lots, would then be subdivided to create 138 single family lots and to build 138 single family homes in this new area. So that is, in a nutshell, what this rezoning will look like. And so we can definitely go down and see what the houses are looking like, the potential of what could be. So I'm gonna try this slowly. We'll see what happens because it's kind of down here a little bit. So before we do that, let's look at the money part, because so there is a potential of development fees coming to the city of San Bernardino in the amount of $2.4 million. So, and I just saw it, but I don't know what I did with it, but it's in there. This would be an HOA style of living, and it could allow upwards of 188 residential dwellings. So that's pretty cool. Oh, wait, hang on a sec. Oh, this is an additional. The proposed project is consistent with the policies of the general plan, complies with the city's development code. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm rereading this. Residential medium zone allows for a density of 12 residential dwellings per acre. Okay. The subject property contains approximately 15.71 acres, so you could build upwards of 188 residential units, and they are going with 138 residential lots. So, okay. Here we go. They are going to range from 2,300 square feet to 3,000 square feet. So if you want to look at this closer, Anna, you can go to the city's website at svcity.org, and in the city clerk's tab, you can definitely download the agenda and review it if you're having a hard time seeing it. I will try to zoom in a little bit, but if that helps you. But if not, you can definitely read this on your own and download the documents for your review at your own leisure. So I hope that helps a little bit. All right, so let's get to the schematics of the design. And I had the page, but okay, I'm gonna keep going. Keep going. But it is cool to see housing being built, especially because of the city's need. So this is I believe the track map tentative. So this is the tentative layout of what you will potentially see as far as the development. But I want to get you the pretty pictures because that's a little bit better. So they have the actual layout of the homes. They have the concept designs in each of the areas. So there we go. All right, here's the pretty stuff. Okay, so these will be 2-story homes with a car built-in garage. So this is, and if you do download the agenda, thank you, Victor, for putting if you click on the link in the comments, that will take you to the agenda. Appreciate that. And on page 163 of the agenda, you will be able to see these concept designs of what the housing will look like. And this housing will be built off of Foothill Boulevard in Macy over on the west end. So this is the concept, and you can come and you can speak about this item at the meeting and vocalize any thoughts that you have. Here's another concept design. Looks pretty cool, like the shrubbery, drought tolerant, as we live in our drought kind of environment. So yeah, nice. Very cool. All right. So that is another public hearing that you will be able to talk about. Okay, and this is a big item, so definitely take the time if you want to go through all of the documents, but I just wanted you guys to see the concept design and see what was coming forward. Okay, here we go. Off to the next. So that is Foothill and Macy, and this is in the 6th ward. I believe, and I had this conversation earlier, I thought there was going to be a truck stop built in that area. And if I'm looking at this correctly, and I'll have to ask for 100% sure, this is being built by a truck company, LLC, is the developer. So I think the plan for this may have changed from last year to this year, but I'm going to verify that tomorrow. But for those of you that had asked, I thought this was going to be a truck stop, and I guess that's not happening anymore. So, but we'll check twice and cut once on that conclusion. So, okay, then we have another public hearing and a resolution confirming assessments for delinquent solid waste collection services. So if you have not paid your bill on time, then they are going to go after you. So please make sure that you are on time and that you deal with this, reach out to the proper channels if this is something that is affecting you. I know it's happened in the past. We can look at it real quick on page 329 of the agenda. Okay. All right, so an administrative hearing was held on delinquent account statuses under the government code, and the city is authorized to place solid waste collection charges delinquent for 60 days or more on the annual secured property tax roll. And then we move forward. And delinquent charges will accrue a 10% penalty and a 1.5% monthly interest, and may be placed on the county's property tax roll. So if you don't pay your VRTEC, you will be fined. And so please make sure that you're doing that. You don't want to get hit later on with the delinquency and extra charges. Okay, so that's that one. And if you want to, you can also sign up and speak directly for these. So remember, public hearings are individual, and so comments have to be made specifically for that item. So that's number 4. And then we have a public hearing on fiscal 25-26 assessment levies for previously formed assessment districts. Okay, so we'll look at this one. So we have these individuals, and now as these are created, they are individualized outside of everything else that is established in the city. And so that's why you see these marked. And money incurred, like when we talk about special district assessments, that money is supposed to be utilized to take care of that specific area that it is created for. And so we make sure that everything is properly noticed, that everything is adhered to, because this is independently regulated. So, okay. Let's see, hang on. Someone said it was changed. It's now being built on Rialto Avenue and Rancho. Wasn't there talks about a shopping center to be built instead of housing? You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I just know that I remember a trucking facility coming to Foothill, but if you're saying it's been moved to Rialto, I will check into that. I will definitely get up to date on all the goodies going on in that area. But thank you for that, Roxanne. Appreciate it. Okay, so after these public hearings, then our city manager, Mr. Gallardo, will give his city manager update. And then if there isn't anything that you wanted to speak on at the public hearings, you can come and speak on anything that is on the agenda or not on the agenda for your anywhere between 90 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on the traffic. Then we have the consent calendar. So these are things that do not go into discussion. We can ask questions, but we generally don't have any major heartburn over these things. They're kind of like the move on from. So we approve the amendment number 2 to the goods purchase agreement with Midwest Veterinary Supply, increasing to not exceed to the amount of $500,000 and extending the contract expiration date to June 30th of 2026. So this is for veterinarian supplies, Midwest. We can look at it real quick. 429. Okay, so this is the second amendment. Let's make sure, see what it does. So in March of 2025, the department began performing spay and neuter surgeries on campus for adopted animals, increasing the need for additional veterinary supplies and pharmaceuticals. The department is requesting a second amendment to the agreement with Midwest Veterinary Supplies, increasing the contract by an additional $200,000 annually to cover the additional costs associated with surgeries. The department is requesting an amendment for $200,000. The increased contract amount will be shared with other contract cities according to the executed agreement. Each city will be billed quarterly for the annual cost based on their share of expenses. All right, so money is needed for more spay and neuter. Not a bad thing. So we'll just keep that going as far as the animals are concerned. So that's what that one was. And then let's see what's next. Like I said, this is pretty heavy for the second meeting in July, but you know what? I know you guys are up for it, so. Approval of various mayor and council meeting minutes. You guys know that we're behind quite a bit for quite a few years, and so we are still catching up on our meeting minutes. So that's item number 7. And then authorize a budget amendment for fiscal year 25-26 for security services for the Regal Theater in connection with the Redwood Private Security Services. The second and final 1-year extension option not to exceed $80,000. So if you want to see a movie and you want to be safe, this is your item. Okay. Number 9, the authority to execute a charging station site license agreement between the city of San Bernardino and EV Charging Solutions for electric vehicle charging stations at Feldham Library. This is, if you remember, this was announced, I think maybe a month ago or so, not too long ago. And so you will be able to come and plug in your car and plug in your mind at the Feldheim Library very soon. So a 10-year term with the option to renew for another 10 years. So future, here we come. Next, we have the investment portfolio for all of you investment accounting nerdies out there. This is your moment. Take it. And then we have the fiscal year 25-26 special tax levies for previously formed community facilities districts. So remember, you held the public hearings. We make sure that it's all the money where we're levying the special taxes are going to be, and then they're collected to pay for the facilities or pay the principal and interest on bonds and administrative expenses within that community facilities district. So that's what these are right here. And that is item number 11. And there's quite a few within item 11. And then number 12, approve the commercial and payroll disbursement. So everybody's getting paid and whatever we purchased is getting reimbursed. So that's number 12. Remember, you can always go through that, see who's getting what, when, why, and where. This was always really good for me in being able to see how much we were paying out to people and who was getting what. So great source of information. Number 13, approve a professional service agreement with the California Public Policy Group for professional grant writing services in an amount not to exceed $309,000. And so grant writing is extremely important, and this is for a 3-year contract with an option to extend for 2 additional years. So about $100,000 a year for grant writing. Getting off kind of cheap there. All right. Then we have number 14, amendments to the professional service agreement for legal services. So as the city hires outside attorney firms to handle cases against the city, we pay. And so we will be amending a service agreement for Atkins, Adelson, Loya, Root, and Romo for representation in the David Miranda case. As we were talking about, we'll be discussing that closed session. So the original amount was $100,000. Now we're going up an additional $150,000. And then for the First Amendment for Atkins, another one for Atkins, Adelson, Loya, and Root, and Romo. For the Christina Nebriro versus City, and that's going to be an additional $145,000. And then we've got a First Amendment for Bracy Hopkins Law for the representation in the Virginia Watson. So this is again is closed session. Superior Court, so not to exceed the amount of $65,000. And then we have another case for Carla Jet Moore for closed session, and that'll be an additional not to exceed a $50,000 increase. And so for those that, why these increases? So it could be that there was an additional court hearing. It could be that there may need to be additional time for a case, or there's movement on it. So these are where, and if you see originally the majority are the initial $100,000, and then anything above that comes back to the city council for additional approval. But you know, litigation definitely costs the city money. So then we have approve a memorandum of understanding and compensation and benefits plans with the bargaining unit. So it looks like we have come to an understanding with the Teamsters for the general unit employees. Congratulations, you guys. And then the Teamsters for middle management, congratulations. Approve the memorandum of understanding with the San Bernardino Police Dispatch Association. Congratulations on your first one out the gate. Adopt a resolution for the mayor and council approving the San Bernardino Confidential Management Association compensation and benefit plans for Management Confidential. Great job, you guys. And amend the citywide salary schedule for general unit, mid-management, police dispatch, and management confidential classification. So, hey, that is pretty awesome for you and us. So then we go on to authorize a 3-year enterprise agreement with Earth Science Research Institute to purchase GIS software and services in the amount of $596,376. So this is an agreement with Esri. That's who Earth Science Research Institute is, for geographical GIS system software. So if you guys know, Esri is the GIS head of everything over in the city of Redlands, and we use them for our services as well. Super, super great people. Had the opportunity to work with them on some other stuff, and great technology. Then we have the authorization of annual technology infrastructure services and software licensing not to exceed $1,503,810.88. Sometimes I just read it to make sure that I can still do it. So it's recommended that the mayor and city council authorize the finance director to issue a purchase order to Tyler Technologies, Frontier California, Verizon, Harris Computer Systems. So IT stuff. Super exciting. And then item 18, I told you guys, it's a big agenda. Authorize a vendor service agreement with DM&G Construction and Engineering for installation of guardrails. So this item was on the last council, but got pulled because they were still doing some assessment. So let's look at that real quick on where we are guardrailing our city for those that are interested. Okay, here we go. So the purchase order is not to exceed $193,560 for the 25-26 years, and not to exceed $100,000 for the year 26-27. And so there, the city is allowing DM&G to install and maintain guardrails that protect motorists, pedestrians, and infrastructure. They serve as a critical roadside safety feature, particularly in areas such as curves, slopes, and nearby fixed objects. So let's see where we're going. Okay. All right. So here's who bid. You had D&M Construction and Engineering out of Chino for a cost of $64,000. Fiera Construction Co. out of Rancho, $249,000, and Global Builders out of Laguna for $170,000. That is interesting to me that bid is that over $100,000 lower. It's very interesting. So I will ask a question about that. Okay. So staff recommends awarding an agreement to DM&G based on their experience, proposed pricing, and recent performance on similar contracts. The award is based on the unit cost of $129.65 per linear foot, which is the most competitive of the 3 vendors and represents the best pricing for the city. So yeah, super competitive. It's interesting whether Fiera and Global were why they were so much more. And I think that's a relevant question as we go through RFP process for us to understand. So we will be seeing the initial lists of guardrail installations on 40th Street and Conejo Drive southbound at the T intersection, the southwest corner of Waterman Avenue and 28th Street, Little Mountain Drive and Little Mountain Court at the southwest corner, the west side of East Street and Hospitality Lane, north of the driveway and intersection, the west side of East Street and Hospitality Lane, south of the second driveway by the SCE transmission lines, and San Anselmo Avenue and Donald Street at the curve. So also the guardrail installation is not only limited to the locations listed above under the vendor service agreement, guardrails will also be installed at other locations upon request and needed to prevent vehicles from leaving the roadway. That sounds like a very good goal. So that is what's happening with item, I think 15 or 16, whatever one we were on, 18. So yeah, guardrails are coming. Super awesome. Safety first. Okay, then they are decommissioning 2 traffic signals in the first ward. And at the intersection of 4th Street and F and 4th Street and G. So there you go. Then 20 is report of contracts executed in accordance with Ordinance MC 1605 for the period of 2023 to 2025. Let's take a look at that. Let's see. What do we got? All right, so all contracts executed by the city manager, agency directors, department directors, and their assigned designees in the amount of 40,000 to 100,000 must be reported to the mayor and city council at a regular meeting. These contracts fall within the city manager's signing authority as defined by the city's purchasing policy and administrative policies. So this is cool. This is where you get to see who did what and when did they do that. So if we go back to 2023, that we know we had Charles McNeely was here. So Graves and Kings. So that's a lot of city stuff. Charles McNeely, outside legal. Charles Montoya, outside legal. Graves and Kings. Collins and Collins. We had JEA. I don't know, why does that sound familiar? JEA and Associates. Huh. After that brings back a memory, and I don't remember why. Huh, we'll have to look at that. So that was being signed, Capital Edge, Odyssey Power, photos, Lawrence Beach, Allen and Choi, Carpenter, Rothman, a lot of HR stuff. Jones and Meyer. Wow, for only being here for 7 months, we got a lot of stuff. So yeah, hey, this is pretty cool. You can go through and see exactly what they were doing. So we've got after Charles, and we have Clayton. And we've got TLC Animal Remover, PSA. Erna Enterprise, TLC Animal Renewal, Jacob Green and Associates, Fairview Ford. Very good. So I'm gonna go through more of this because some of these are ringing bells on some stuff that we talked about a while ago. So, all right, but that's definitely something you guys continue to go through. I think it's awesome. And I really like that resolution because getting that through a public records request is not as easy as it seems. All right, and then after all of these wonderful consent calendar items and all of those public hearings, then we have a discussion for property tax transfer resolution for LAFCO, the reorganization to include annexation to the city of San Bernardino and detachment from county services Area 70 Spring Trail specific plan project. So I know this is a talk for you guys up in the 5th Ward, and if you want, you are more than welcome to come down and give your input. So this is your moment. This is your Spring Trails moment. And then we have item 22, proposed strategy for park restroom operations, and the approval of the allocation for $63,000 for 23 minor restroom rehabilitation efforts. So, yay. Oh, someone wants me to look. Let's look at the Spring Trails real quick. All right, hang on. We can take a quick look. I love how interested you guys get in this stuff. Okay. All right. So resolution 2025-338 of the mayor and city council of the city of San Bernardino, transferring property taxes in conjunction with the reorganization and annexation to the city of San Bernardino and detachment from the county service area 70, property known as Spring Trail Specific Plan Project, generally located northerly of Myers Road and easterly of Martin Ranch Road. So, we have to go through LAFCO. Okay. So on November 6th of 2024, the mayor and council approved resolution 2024-220, making application for LAFCO for reorganization to include the annexation to the city of San Bernardino and detachment for the Spring Trails. So the Spring Trails project plan was approved in March of 2013, is located in the northern west part of the city and the Vermont area outside the city limits, but inside the city's sphere of influence. The specific plan proposes the development of 199 acres, allowing the creation of 215 residential lots. Due to site constraints, the original project was amended, reducing the property scope by 43 acres and 92 residential lots. So that's what this is. And let's see, for LAFCO, the county of San Bernardino determined the assessed value of the project at $2.6 million with an anticipated tax revenue of $26,000 based on prior agreements. There is $0 being transferred to the city of San Bernardino. That's interesting. So since this is going to be a discussion item, we will discuss. Why there's no money coming to the city of San Bernardino. Always good information to have. So yeah, okay. Well, those of you that wanted to know, that was it. So this will be something that we can ask questions about as a council. So okay, after all of that awesomeness, then the mayor and the council will give up any updates, reports on conferences and meetings that we have attended, and then we will adjourn to our next meeting of August 6th. So I hope that was exciting for you as it was for me. I do want to discuss something else, and many of you have been reaching out, especially Ward 7 members, with a disturbing video that showed one of our residents being arrested by ICE or possible ICE over on Mountain View, as well as arrests that had taken place at Home Depot off of 21st Street. And there are a couple things I know that, you know, in the last couple meetings and live discussions that we've had, you know, the city has put out notices regarding our relationship or lack thereof with ICE and immigration efforts. So what I do want you to know is this is a very difficult time. And it's very difficult for a lot of people on a lot of statuses, whether or not you are here legally or illegally at this point really is a toss-up of what rights you will have tomorrow. And I understand that. One thing that is important for the residents that were reaching about what happened on Mountain View. If you suspect that someone in your family is not being detained by a legitimate law enforcement official, you should call the police and ask for help. When the most vulnerable of us are in a high situation of vulnerability, we do know that it can create opportunities for bad people to do bad things. And I watched a sheriff up in Central California go to the fields and tell the migrant workers, you know, that if anybody comes to you, tries to blackmail you or them, is what he told them, if they were coming to blackmail you or threaten you, you can report that. You don't have to because of your status, believe that you have no safety and security. First and foremost, you are a resident of the city of San Bernardino. And while the federal government has the ultimate jurisdiction over immigration above any municipal code, you still have due process as a person within the United States of America under our Constitution. So you are not without avenues, you are not without mechanisms legally as well. There are some things that have come down. I know the city of Pasadena has issued a statement that yesterday the federal court for the Central District of California granted a temporary restraining order in a case requiring that the federal government to comply with the United States Constitution while engaging in immigration enforcement activities in the counties of Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Luis Obispo, Ventura, U.S. And through the U.S. District Judge. So, and they ruled that evidence presented showing that federal immigration enforcement officials engaged in unlawful detentions without reasonable suspicion was a Fourth Amendment violation. And when they named the people that were in this case, they denied them due process. So there are a lot of moving parts to what is happening in our country, and more importantly, in our state, and even more importantly, in our city. So please don't feel like you cannot use law enforcement if you need it. And I want you to understand that I hear what you guys are saying. I understand the fear. I absolutely am appalled by a lot of the things that I am seeing, and I do not stand by them. And at the same time, we also have to enforce the laws that are enforceable. So do what you need to protect yourself legally and righteously under the law and under whatever the city of San Bernardino can provide, as well as through whatever immigration channels that you have. But the mayor put out a good video providing additional resources and people to contact, and you can find that on her Instagram. So I thank you guys for providing the information. My heart goes out to the families that are being affected by this, and whatever resource we can to make sure that no one's being human trafficked, no one being sex trafficked, no one's being kidnapped, is still a responsibility under the laws of the land. So with that, big agenda, a lot going on in the world. But we are here for it. And as your representative in the 7th and throughout the city of San Bernardino, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening. And I hope that you have the best week possible. So thank you guys so much. Good night.